Good evening and welcome back to the Cheltenham Exchange with day 4 of our Twitter tips analysis videos. I think that's about right. Twitter tips videos, that's what we call them, isn't it? It's where we put up the polls for a different race each day throughout February. And with it being the 28th today, this rounds up day 4 of the festival. So do not adjust your screens. I'm actually present for a video for once. I've missed a fair few lately. I must apologise. But yeah, I'll be very rusty. Though a lot of people probably say that makes no difference.
You've still been able to Matty, OJ.
Well, unfortunately, no Matty tonight. I remember that phrase.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, no Matty. And even more surprisingly, no Ian. Massive shock. No boss man tonight. Rain man, con man, whatever you want to call him. Unfortunately, Mr. Rayner is otherwise engaged in work. Don't say it, Alex. Do not say anything about what he may be doing in work. But yeah, fortunately, I'm joined by our stalwarts, Johnny and Alex, to go through these polls and have a bit of discussion and see what we can make of them. So thank you, fellas. Both okay? Everything good in the hood?
Yeah, getting close now, OJ. Well, what, 10 days out? Something like that? 10, 11, 12 days out? We're getting close, so...
Getting very close.
No, we're 13 days out. 13 days. I'm getting ahead of myself.
We got there in the end.
The weights are out for the handicaps, and it's all getting very exciting. Yeah, busy time ahead, boys. Busy time ahead. So, as many of you will be aware, before we get started, we must thank everybody who has been watching these videos on YouTube, because we've had quite a good response. Lots of views. Alex's concept that he came up with last year has proved a real hit. So thanks to all of you getting involved in the polls, for adding your comments on Twitter, and also watching on YouTube. So, yes, thank you, everybody out there. Okay, so we'll move on to day 4 of the festival. And our first poll for day 4, where we're going to look at the Triumph Hurdle, grade 1 for 4-year-olds. And Alex has kindly put up the slide for what happened in our poll. Pre-January, we probably would have said that this was a pretty open race until Sergino did what he did at Cheltenham. And that was reflected in the poll, obviously. Massive 72.6% of people voted Sergino. Johnny, you've been keen all year. Banker of the festival.
Yeah, I mean, at this moment in time, I would say he's probably my nap of the festival after what I've seen. Like we say, we saw him there, didn't we, back in November? He was very, very impressive indeed. January, wasn't it, that one? It was January meeting, wasn't it? Trials Day. Alex, is that right?
Yeah, Trials Day.
Yeah, Trials Day. Get me meetings mixed up. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a point and click for me in this race. Looking at the voting there, he got, 70-odd% of the votes. I'm not surprised by that at all, from what they've all shown us so far this season. So, yeah, I'm Sergino fan all over.
Happy with that. On early days, what were we on at, John? 20s or something, was it?
Yeah, need to consult my spreadsheet here for this. 14s, actually, just the 14s on this one, OJ.
Still very nice, especially now when he's, what is he? Well, he's odds on, isn't he? I'm pretty sure.
Best price 8 to 11 now, OJ.
Well, there we go. Let's have a look. A couple of comments here. Scotty, our mate Scotty, the bad boy of bowls. I'll back Nürburgring at a decent price each way. He gave weight to Cargies and Carlo Conti, beaten 3/4 of a length at Christmas. He needs to step up again, but is one that can hit the frame. Sergino wins, but way too short now. What do you reckon, Al? Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I was looking forward to sort of the rematch with Burdett Road. I'm not saying Burdett Road would have beaten him, but I think he could have got a bit closer. And obviously now the news has come out that Burdett Road's not going to make the festival. I mean, at the moment it does look like it's a bit of a penalty kick on with Sergino, but I don't know. A lot of these top juveniles, when you look back, a lot of them actually do end up getting beaten at some point during the season. I mean, Lossiemouth got beat last year, didn't she? And it doesn't always go to plan. I mean, the races can be a bit chaotic, can't they? These, so I mean, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if he does get beat. I'd quite like to see what happens with Madgeborough, like see what step forward he takes, because obviously it's his first run, wasn't it, for Mullins at the DRF? Chucked straight in that big race. I'd be quite interested to see how much he comes on for that. But other than that, I mean, he should win. Sergino.
Sergino for the win then, and a massive portion of the vote. We'll touch on another comment there that came in on Twitter from Cheltenham Time account. Ethical Diamond at 25 to 33 is worth a little each way squeak. A bit of nodding there from Johnny as well.
Yeah, our friend the Judge Pottage is fond of Ethical Diamond as well, and he was quite eye-catching at the DRF. So yeah, looking outside of the top couple in the market, then he might be one to have a few quid each way, like chap says there.
Lovely. So Sergino just wins. And we'll move on. Okay, we'll move on to a very competitive handicap, the County Hurdle. Decent split of the votes, but King of Kingsfield came out on top. 37.7% of the vote. And I think sitting on top of the market around 6-1 at the moment, maybe-ish. Alex, you got any particular thoughts now with just under 2 weeks to go?
Nothing sort of specific. I think King of Kingsfield's getting a bit short in the market now for me. I mean, he's as low as 5-1 in some places, and I mean, if you look back through this race, I mean, there have been some short price winners, but I mean, in the last 7, there's been 6 winners. Sorry, no. In the last 7 runnings, there've been 4 winners that have been 20-1 or bigger. So, I mean, it is a race that's quite often produces a shock. I certainly wouldn't want to be ploughing into King of Kingsfield at 5-1. I'm not saying he's not going to win or he's not the most likely winner. I think Under Control could be good value at a current price of about 11, I think best price. But yeah, it's certainly not one I'd be looking to get stuck in on.
There's still a wide open race. Johnny, are you a King of Kingsfield fan?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a sort of horse that we followed, really, hasn't he? Especially in our group, haven't we, for the last couple of years? Yeah. His name's been very prominent, hasn't it, in last season's bumpers and then this season as well. And he's looked all right actually this season, a bit better than I thought after what we saw from him last year. I suppose the mark he's been given, I think it's 140, isn't it? I mean, he could be, as we've seen before in this race, sometimes you get a horse that's really thrown in off the mark. And that could be, if there's going to be one, it'll probably be him. So, I think he'll have every chance. But like Alex says, he is a little bit on the short side now. Under Control, I like as well. Name I've had down on my list for a few months now for either this or the Coral Cup. But obviously she comes here. Now, I think she's on 138. I think, that's quite an eye-catching mark. So, yeah, I think she'll go well as well. Also, I think you've got to take into consideration last year's winner as well, Favois. I think he slipped down to an attractive mark again, and he could give it a good go in this for Skelton.
Okay, what's Favois sitting on then? 136.
Very tempting.
Interesting. Dare I throw my tuppence worth in here?
Go for it.
Do it, OJ. We want to know.
Well, no, I'm sticking with what I said a few weeks ago after about First Street for Henderson. I think it's still about 25-1. I know he's talked about Champion Hurdle again. I guess, would that maybe depend on what's going on with Constitution Hill. I don't know. And I think he also mentioned the Coral Cut, but I mean, he's run twice in this previously, I think, and finished second to Stateman quite impressively. And I think he's around the same mark as he was that day. So, I mean, I think this is the race. But, yeah, he's still in it at the moment. So, yeah, I thought I'd chuck it in soon as, yeah, I won't be going mad with a coffee jar. So let's have a look at what some people on Twitter had to say. Big friend of the show, Paul Beck there. Spectre Racing. I'd be in the Loder Sud camp. He came clear of a quality field with Iberico Lord in the Betfair Hurdle. Now proven in a quality big field, lightly raced on a nice mark and with a progressive profile and with a trainer that knows how to win the race. What do we think there, boys? Paul knows his beans, that's for sure.
Yeah, I actually backed him in that Betfair Hurdle, and to be fair, he did look the winner until he sort of, I won't say blew up as such, but he just didn't quite sort of finish off the race, did he, and finish second. But he'd be another one, definitely. He's definitely in your exactors, I think.
Okay. Paul Milner. If Pied Piper runs here instead of the Champion Hurdle, he'll go very close. 16-1, non-runner, no bet with Ladbrokes is the bet for me at the moment. So Pied Piper is now with who? It was one of the Coldwell horses, wasn't he? So
I think he's still with Gordon, isn't he? Pied Piper.
Oh, is he?
He's got a different, just new owner.
Okay. What do you think?
He's
Do you
off
think he'll go
156, isn't he? He's top weight. So, I mean, there's talk about him getting a claimer on, which I suspect he'll need in this sort of race. 156 is high, isn't it?
It's high, isn't it?
Carrying the 12.
I'm sure they can find a good claimer, can't they? It's not like that.
Yeah, if anyone can, Gordon can, can't he? He'll need to take 5 off, only, or 7 off if he can, or whatever.
Would you think that there might be something lurking with more in hand, though? Potentially.
I do, yeah.
There should be, but I mean, you have seen horses run in this weight and do well off top weight. I think wasn't Arctic Fire top weight when he won it,
Yeah.
and I think Chutabella was towards the top as well, like top 4 or 5 as well when he won. So, yeah, I mean, I think there was a time where you could sort of do like an exacta with the top 5 weights, top 5 in the weights, couldn't you, in some of these handicaps, and you could actually do quite well in them. I'm not sure if that form still exists, but I know there was a time when that was a profitable thing to do.
Okay, lovely. And another friend of the show, Kieran Clavin. For me, it's between Bialystok and Westport Cove if they both run. So, yeah, any thoughts on what Kieran had to say there, boys? Not really. So once again,
the ones that I've looked at this stage.
No, I haven't either yet. I've seen one of them's a Mullins horse, isn't it? So
yeah, Bialystok. Isn't that a Ritchie horse? Isn't it?
Ritchie's, yeah. Both are Mullins horses.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, so not ones I've considered, to be perfectly honest. I'll have to have a look at those.
Okay, so yeah, County Hurdle. It's going to be competitive, whatever we would imagine. Shall we move on to the Albert Bartlett?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, Albert Bartlett. High Class Hero came out on top with 33% of the vote. Reading Tommy wrong. Took the Lawlers of Nace, didn't he? Quite impressively. Shook him up a bit there. Our own Matty Luke's got a comment in here. Still keen on Croke Park. Went up to 3 miles. Should never have run in the Lawlers of Nace. He's been banging that drum for a while, hasn't he, Matty?
Yeah.
What do we think, Al? Anything? Any particular thoughts in here?
I mean, just looking through the last 7 winners, only one horse has won it the last 7 times at a single figure price. So if you see something going off short, it's probably the worst race to back a favourite in, because they so often get turned over, and so often in this race, like the best horse isn't the one that, well, going forward, isn't the one that wins it as well. Yeah, I'd probably look at something a little bit further down the market. Quite interested in Gidley Park. I see that he's been trading on the exchanges a lot shorter for the Bartlett than he was for the Ballymore, and I think that, to me, that's probably the right move. I don't think he'd jump fast enough for a Ballymore, so I think a Bartlett would be the kind of race he should go for. And then the only other one that I'd probably maybe look at this stage would be maybe the Jukebox Man, who's nice sort of price at 25-1, and he's had a bit of nice form this year and looks like he wants to step up in trip. So those are the only two that I'd really give a shout out to.
Interesting, because I think in that the January meeting at Cheltenham Trials Day, Gidley Park seemed to come again, didn't he? It looked like he was almost going to get beaten and then strengthened away again. So
he looked better the further he went, didn't he?
Yeah. Lovely, Johnny. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it is a tough race and probably the hardest of all the novice races, isn't it, to get a grip on? Because you get so many horses that have been stepped up in trip, don't you? It's just purposely for this race. I've kind of sort of fallen into the reading Tommy Ronkamp. I'm not sure if that's by design, really, but just looking at the form, he seems to have sort of the strongest form, I think, at the moment. I do quite like Dancing City, though, as well, so I need to do sort of a bit more looking through this. It'd be interesting if Captain Teague comes here. I mean, I put him up as a horse to follow, didn't I, at the beginning of the season with the Ballymore in mind. I think he's still double entered, so we'll see where Nichols sends him. Further down, I've still got a sneaking suspicion that we'll see a good race from Johnny Who for John Joe. I think that he'll be crying out for this trip. I think he's about 16-1 at the minute, so he's one that I'll definitely keep an eye on and maybe do a sort of each way on the day, maybe with more places, because he seemed to come again in his last race where he stayed on again, and he just seemed to be needing a proper trip. So this might be sort of right up his street.
Okay.
Jukebox Man who I mentioned, Johnny, he's got form with that Johnny Who. They were 3rd and 4th in that Challo back in
the Challo.
Yeah, that's that race. Yeah. And they were behind Captain Teague, weren't they, and Lookaway. So I mean that could prove to be quite good form.
Yeah, that's reasonable to me. So if you look at a couple of those outside the box a little bit, you might strike lucky with those.
Yeah, Lookaway's had a decent season.
I like Lookaway. Our old favourite as well is down there, isn't he? Chapeau du Soleil.
Chapeau du Soleil.
I mean, he's hardly shown anything, has he? But you wouldn't be surprised if someone like him wins out the blue. It's it's such a messy sort of race, isn't it? And look forward to it as usual, though.
Going back to Lookaway, I was surprised he didn't get an entry in the county. I mean, he's off a mark of 136. You'd imagine he'd go pretty well off that, but what if he gets in? We should get in off that. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
Hope so.
Yeah, right, let's have another look at the comments. Alex, Road to Cheltenham. I'd say Dripsy Moon could run a nice race at a big price.
What?
Brad Rab. Could be a lot of improvement in Shigaran. We need Ian here to pronounce this. At 40-1. Ran a good race when winning last time out and could have come on even further. De Bromhead train, and we know head off right for the festival. 40-1.
There used to be another horse with the same name actually a few years ago, didn't there?
Yeah.
Exactly. And when I saw his name in this, I thought, that can't be that horse. He must be about 15 by now.
Okay, so another tight race.
There's the other one. He was he's 23 now, the other Shigaran.
Christ almighty. That's
he was registered as a GB horse and not an Irish horse, obviously. So you can use the same name, can't you?
Lovely. Okay, tight race. Interesting. Johnny's siding towards reading Tommy wrong now. It was Daryl Jacob, wasn't it? Who wrote him all as an ace.
Yeah, it was a good
Big
ride
grin
as
on
well,
Alex's
wasn't it?
face.
From one of our favourites, Alex.
Don't talk to me about Daryl Jacob.
He
Shite.
watches this.
Oh,
Go on,
sorry,
Daryl.
Daryl. Great jockey.
Okay, shall we move on to the big race? Cheltenham Gold Cup. Is anybody surprised that Galopin Deschamps snaffled 74% of the vote? Is it just Wynn's job?
I'm concerned, OJ.
Ooh.
Last year, obviously, he had four runs, and on his fourth run, he was nowhere near as good. He'd had obviously quite 3 hard runs before, and I'd probably argue he's had three fairly difficult runs again. Like, it's not like he's had any runs where he's sort of won easy, is it? It's I don't know. I've just got like a small little concern in the back of my head that he could be a tired horse going into Cheltenham, and a fresher horse could beat him. But I don't know.
A nagging doubt.
Yeah, maybe. I love him. I absolutely love him. And I think he should win. It's just I was surprised when they went to the DRF after the race at Christmas, because he'd obviously got beat, didn't he, in his first race of the year of 2.5,
Yeah.
and then he did really well over Christmas, and then obviously won at the DRF. But I don't know, I was a bit surprised they ran for that race again. Like, I don't know, seems a bit un-Mullins like, considering how he used to campaign Alboon Photo, who'd run once a year as a little prep run, wouldn't he, on New Year's Day, and then he'd go to the festival. So
Tremor.
He should win. He definitely should. But I don't think I wouldn't necessarily class him as a banker at this stage.
Well, Willie was.
I was certainly more confident last year than I am this year, and he's a smaller price this year. So take that as you will.
Okay. Yeah, Willie was a bit of a latecomer to winning the Gold Cup, wasn't he? Maybe the Tremor route was the right one. Shishkin, anybody give Shishkin a sniff?
Well,
go on, Johnny.
I was to say he looked quite back to his best last time. He just seems to be a little bit tricky, doesn't he? You know, he's had refused to race and an unseat so far. So I suppose one thing you can say, going on Alex's point, then he's fresh, isn't he? Because he hasn't really had much of a race this year. So, yeah, I mean, he should be up there, shouldn't he? I mean, he's a good filthy each way price, if you want to call it that.
There's a couple of ifs with Shishkin, isn't there? You've got the if he starts, and then also the if he decides he wants to jump well. And if the answer's wrong on both of those, you've got no chance. So
yeah, he does seem a bit of a moody horse, doesn't he, at times? If he's not in the
he
mood,
might be one if you want to back him, like back him as in running as soon as they actually go off.
Yeah,
in running, yeah, indeed.
But let him jump 2 or 3 fences, and if he jumps them well, have a few quid on him. But if he doesn't look interested like he did last year in the Ryanair, then don't bother.
Yeah. What's Phil Daniel had to say here on Shishkin? I'm really keen on Shishkin. Never thought I would say that, but he really made an impression on me last twice. Would definitely have won the King George, and last time out at Newbury was strong at the finish. Looks like he'd stay 4 miles in time. I hope he wins. So, yeah, Phil, it sounds like Phil's in the Shishkin camp there now. Paul S. Galopin is the best horse in training. End of story there, then, I guess. So, yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, first run of the season, there was a lot of people writing Galopin off, weren't they? But, yeah, the last twice, far more impressive. And clearly well fancied here in our poll. Anybody else got anything else to say on this, or shall we move on?
I'd probably, if I was just going to try and pick an each way one out at this stage, it might well be Hewick at about 20s. Obviously, he had that win at Christmas. He's fresh now, 80-day break. We know he'll stay. We've seen that. So he's the sort of one that I'd have, running on for a place maybe. I know he fell in it last year, but he was still going quite well.
He was, yeah.
So, I think at 20-1, he's got a decent chance of placing. Again, he might be one for the extra places on the day.
Do we think Monkfish will run?
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I preferred him to go on the Stayers hurdle route, but doesn't look that way, does it?
I'd have an each way sneak. I'd probably have a look on the Real Wacker. He's improved on every run this year. They said at the start of the year they were going to train him with this race in mind. I know he was beaten on Trials Day, wasn't he? But he was last of the four of them. He was last jumping the last fence, and he put 8 lengths between him and Ahoy Senor going from there to the line. He was finishing strongest of all, and the Gold Cup's like half a foot. Oh, sorry, it's a furlong further as well. So yeah, I'd probably have take a chance on him. I mean, he was giving weight away as well to Capodanno that day, so yeah, I'd probably take a chance on him each way to sneak into the places. I don't think he'll win, but he could be decent value for a place.
I'm pretty sure that is it Patrick Neville, the trainer, he said,
yeah,
in the parade ring after the Browns last year. I'm sure he mentioned Gold Cup straight away after the race. So
yeah, that was the plan straight away, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be searching out some each way value, but Galopin looks pretty hot favourite at the moment. Okay, shall we move swiftly along to the Hunter's Chase?
Probably be moving swiftly through this as well.
What can top? We're pretty tight with what have we got? Yeah, it's on the line. 29% of the vote. Just about takes it. This is one I think Jamie and Scotty in their preview before Nace a few weeks ago were very strong, saying that this was going to win the Hunter's Chase. Looks like we've lost Johnny. Johnny's fallen.
He'll be back. He just drops out.
Johnny's fallen at the fifth.
Welcome back, Johnny.
He's back. Yeah, so Jamie and Scotty were very keen on It's on the Line for this race when they did their last preview. What do you think, Al? Is it a race you've got a massive interest in, or not really?
I'll be honest with you, OJ. I've got very little interest in this race at all. Last year I didn't have a bet on it, and my plan was to back something at the top of the hill, like 4 furlongs out, whatever it is, 5 furlongs out, and I backed Premier Magic in running. So yeah, I'll take that again.
Bloody hell.
No real interest. So the only thing I'd say is if you want to spot a trend, it's a very loose trend, but a load of the horses that win this race have a P in their name, and there's only 2 of them this year. So back both of those.
There we go. I mean, I was looking the other day, Premier Magic 8-1 when proven looks does it look a quite a juicy price, doesn't it?
Oh, Johnny's back.
We've lost Johnny again.
He's back.
Sorry.
Oh, he's back.
Network just dropped out then. Totally, my laptop went off.
All right, mate. No probs. Well, check you straight into it, Johnny. Is there anything you've really liking here? Not bothered?
I'm quite strong on the Ferns Lock camp. I mean, I've read comments about, he won't stay in that, but he's won multiple times over 3 miles. I know this is a bit further, but I'm not sure what people have seen to say that. So, I'm on him at a bigger price, so I'm obviously going to be biased and stay in that camp. But yeah, I think he'll run a good race, and it's not a race I'm hugely invested in anyway, to be honest with you. Might do something big each way like on the day. Have a look through on the day.
Johnny, you missed my really good stat about this race.
Go on.
5 of the last 7 winners had a P in their name, so back something with a P. There's only 2.
Right.
So it's
That
Premier,
stat is as
Premier
nonsense
Magic.
as his races.
Premier Magic, yeah.
Premier Magic following up.
Well, I backed him last year, so.
And Focus Point, OJ, 80 to 1.
Okay.
Lump on OJ.
Okay. What about Pamela's? I had to get that in, didn't I? My old mate Ramelis, 16 to 1. Oh, he could get in the frame. He could get in the frame here, Ramelis.
Yeah, got 20s at William Hill, OJ. Don't shortchange yourself at 16s.
Okay.
And if you really like him, you can use your William Hill Epic Boost. Get 40s.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be wasting that. I think I've learned on right now not to waste such things. Okay, well, what have we got? Is that your Aaron there, Alex? Your
It
mate,
is, yeah, it
Aaron?
is. Young Aaron Brown.
Aaron Brown, sorry, not Aaron. Apologies, Aaron.
It's not
So
your fault.
he's in the P camp again.
In the P
Premier
camp,
Magic. Like that. And Jinky Watt. If it runs, winged leader wins easy. It's a statement.
It's not entered,
statement.
so.
Not entered. Okay, that was a statement, but no longer applies. Plus, it doesn't start with a P, and it hasn't got a P in it, so.
Exactly, OJ.
Unlucky Jinky. Okay, yeah, I don't think we need to waffle on then, do we? Should we move swiftly along to the Mayor's Chase? Johnny, need I say any more? You've been Dino Blue all year.
Yeah,
go on.
Been banging the drum all year, haven't I? And trying to beat off everybody having a go at her, saying this, that, and the other about. But yeah, I'm sticking in the camp. I'm on, like, obviously at the 20s, as I said in the comments there. I mean, we'll see if she stays. She's not really been given much of an opportunity, has she? Over 2.5. So hopefully, if it's not a quick run race, hopefully it's a bit of a slowly run race. I don't see why she won't stay myself. She's improved this year. That's the main thing. That's the main point. She's a lot better horse than she was this time last year, and she jumps pretty well. So, yeah, I mean, I think she's got every chance. Obviously, other people have other ideas about it, but I'm staying in the Dino camp.
Fair play to you. You've not swayed, to be fair.
Not swayed.
Alex, go on.
I think Dino Blue is the weakest favourite of the week, to be honest. I don't think she'll stay. I think she's a strong travelling 2-miler, and I think 2.5 will stretch her out too much, personally. I could be wrong, could have egg on my face, but I'm happy to take a chance at something else. Don't like Allegory Devassi. She jumps right, jumps a bit shit sometimes, isn't she? Let's be honest. Limerick Lace. She got beaten quite a few times off a handicap mark in the low 140s, so shouldn't be good enough really to win this. So I've settled on Bride's Hill. Think she's improved this year massively from what we should in prior years. Last time at Huntingdon, there was a real runaway leader. I think the horse was like 30, 40 lengths clear. She dragged that leader in by herself pretty much. And then still had loads in the tank and was barely even touched. I mean, she's off a handicap mark now of 149. So, I mean, she's not far away already from what you'd need to be to win one of these mares' chases. And I think that 149 underestimates her personally. So, yeah, that's who I'll be going with, Bride's Hill.
Bride's Hill from Gavin Cromwell. What sort of price are we looking at there, Al? About 9 to 1.
Best price 8. I think best price 8 to 1. That's non-runner money back.
Is that
You probably
no running?
You can probably get slightly
bet,
bigger. You might get 9s
Yeah.
anti-post, but I mean, would you want 8s anti-post? Well, it's 8s non-runner or 9s anti-post. Like, I know what I do, and it's not the anti-post.
It's not going to make much difference for my 50p, is it? So there we go. Phil again. Phil says, interesting that one of the strongest favourites of the week only got 58% of the vote, isn't it? No. So, I mean, quite well ahead on the vote there. Don't know. And the bookie's foe, think it's wide open. I'll be laying the fave like an egg. All I can say is Riviere d'Etel was cruising like a jet in this race when she fell last year. The only thing putting me off backing her this year is I don't like her prep for this year's race at all. A bit of a
And
quandary.
she jumps right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Got a comment from Dean as well at OJ on the right, underneath the previous winners.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry, Dean. Dino Blue will probably end up winning the race. However, Allegory Devassi, is it? Should that be Allegory Devassi?
Probably.
Yeah. And Riviere d'Etel are both interesting types. Allegory Devassi beat Riviere d'Etel last time out. However, the latter beat the former by 33 lengths in a grade 3 at Punchestown. At 20-1, I would be having some of Riviere d'Etel. Sorry, Dean. Alex has already told you she jumps right.
If you go back to the comments on the race last year, it literally says, the first thing it says on Riviere d'Etel is jump right on occasions. So
not ideal, as we know.
If you want to back a horse jumps right at Cheltenham, fine. I made that mistake last year. I backed her. I hated every time she went over a fence.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, yep. Dino Blue took the vote. Johnny's been keen all year. And Alex has ended up landing on Bride's Hill for Gavin Cromwell. We shall see in how many days? This will be 16 days time. 15 days time. 16. I don't know. 2 weeks on
16.
Friday.
15.
Yeah.
Or 15 as you're watching if you watch it tomorrow for us.
True. Very true. Anyway, yeah, I'm waffling as usual. Move along to the last race of the festival. Martin Pipe, conditional jockeys, handicap hurdle. Samajest took 46% of our poll vote. And yeah, I've been a bit out of the picture lately, but trying to catch up on messages. I think I picked up yesterday that this one's been absolutely hammered. Would I be right in saying that? Down to about 4-1 or something?
Yeah,
there were some comments from... Go on, Johnny.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I mentioned that in the group this morning, saying it's been smashed into 4s, which is incredible for a competitive handicap like this, 4-1, 2 weeks before, it's just mental.
There were some comments from Patrick saying that Mark Walsh might want the ride in the Coral Cup on here, him. So I don't think it's necessarily guaranteed that it will go here, but you get non-runner money back at the moment. So,
especially when you've got Mullins has got Cade Bourbon, and then JP's got No Ordinary Joe for this as well. So that could sway Sam Majest into the other race.
Yeah, Dan 1475. Think K is a good thing. Everyone in the yard loves him and raves about him. K de Bourbon took 24% of our vote, so you're looking at 70% of the vote in the top 2 there. Quite a lot for a competitive handicap, as you say. Do you think of K de Bourbon, boys?
Yeah, Got a good chance, I think. 140 as well. Form's pretty reasonable. I know, was Matty a big fan of this one earlier in the season?
Yeah, he was. He was saying on one of our previews, wasn't he? He thinks it will go for this race and he'll do really well.
Yeah.
I don't know if he jumped well enough, personally. I think he jumped pretty badly on his last start, didn't he? So.
And you do need to be spot on in this when you're jumping, don't you? Because they go a bit of a rattle, don't they? It's a bit chaotic race. Bit of a chaotic race.
Just looking back at the previous winners there, Alex, old Indefatigable 2020, 4 years ago.
Johnny will tell you that she wasn't going to win, but she was. Colin Fire was going to stop.
Colin Fire was pissing up in that race.
Johnny, how many races did he win after that race?
That was his big day, though, wasn't it? He cried for that race.
He'd have been sick up the hill and Indefatigable. She wasn't stopping.
Fuming.
She was flying.
You did love her, didn't you, Al, to be fair?
Oh, massively. She was amazing.
I don't think she won another race after that. Never mind.
She did.
She did.
And she was going very well in the mare's hurdle before she decided to fall.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 2 out or something.
Wasn't she about 66-1 or something in that mare's hurdle?
Something like that, yeah. That was the one where... Was it Marie's Rock won that race as well? I think
so, yeah.
I think it was that year.
She got us the exactor anyway.
Yeah. What a horse.
A couple of years ago, wasn't it? Stuart Patterson was all over Waterford Whispers, but might not even go now. Still in at the moment, I think. Another De Bromhead horse. Another JP horse. It's hard to tell, isn't it? Because so many have got entries in other handicaps.
Yeah. Like the other one I like, Jigoro for Gordon Elliott, is entered in 5 races, still in Supreme and Ballymore, and then the 3 the 3 hurdles. So yeah, I really like him. I think his form could be some of the best amongst there, and he's a lot bigger price than the top 2 or 3 in the market. So I'm quite keen on him, but it just depends where he goes. But I'm hoping it's here.
You got another one as well, Johnny. The mare.
Oh, the nurse.
Yeah.
Nurse Susan.
Yeah. The nurse is on a really good mark, I think. She's got more to come. 135. That's, if she she should get in. She's 44 on the list at the moment, and with the double entries.
Yeah.
With the double entries, she should get in, really, I think, off that. But yeah, I think she's got an each way squeak as well.
Sean Handy. Does it say Sean Handy or does it say Sean Hardy? Sean Handy, I think.
Handy, yeah.
Lucky place. Really impressed with his last run at Cheltenham in a graded race, going down half a length to Gidley Park, who, of course, Alex mentioned earlier on. Also gave another well thought of horse, Golden Ace, a race. So, lucky place. Anybody looked at that one at all?
Yeah, I mean, he had that Golden Ace. Yeah, that Golden Ace that he had form with also had form with Dysart Enos. So I guess if Gidley Park wins the Ballymore and Dysart Enos wins the Mares Novice, then there's some form lines there for you to follow on lucky place. But yeah, he ran pretty well, didn't he, on trials day? Unlucky loser, really. The one I'd give a shout to, if the ground isn't bad, if there's any kind of good in the ground, good to soft even, I definitely chance to go on Encanto Bruno.
Oh, you just stolen my thing. I was waiting for the finale to say, Alex. Bruno.
He's a miles better horse when the ground is good. I mean, just look back at his run in October at Cheltenham. Ground was good that day, and he was brilliant. And then next 2 starts, he's ran on soft and heavy, and he was 8th on soft and then 9th on heavy. I mean, he really is so ground dependent. if there's some good in the ground, I will be getting stuck in on Bruno. But if it's soft or heavy, no chance.
And live it. What do you reckon? Al? What's the forecast looking like? It's a long way out, obviously, but
I think at the moment the ground will probably be
weather bombs.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, the ground's probably somewhere between sort of soft and heavy. We've had loads of rain over the last few weeks. There's a little bit more rain forecast over the next sort of 4 or 5 days. Then after that, it looks a little bit drier. And there's a few really windy days apparently forecast for next week. So, I mean, it does drain really quickly, but we have had so much rain recently. I think it'll be soft ground. I think we'll have soft, and it might get so good soft in places possibly. And then, as always, it will be a little bit worse on the cross-country course because it doesn't drain anywhere near as well there. So maybe soft, heavy in places there. But it depends on how much rain you get a couple of days leading up to it as well. Because once it starts drying, it dries really quickly. I don't know. So, somewhere around soft, I think. I don't think there's any chance of them needing to water, put it that way. Although with the clerk of the course there, he probably will water.
I don't know.
Ginger Jill will be fuming if they water.
Yeah, he will. Crikey, yeah. Yes, I said the better. Okay, so yeah, I think that's about it. Great series once again, Alex. Well done with your brainchild. It's been good. Apologies for kind of coming in and doing the presenting tonight and being a bit rusty to say the least. But
you did the first one this year, and you did the last one. So
bookended it.
Nice little sandwich me and you made.
But yeah, thanks, lads.
For one.
That's more than he turned up for last year, though, Johnny.
It is, yes, it's a start.
Next year we might get 2 from him.
Ooh, you never know.
Great stuff, lads. Enjoyed that tonight. And once again, everybody out there who took the time to take part, even if it was just clicking on a vote, we appreciate it. It's given us a chance to get some content out and have a good chat, and hopefully everyone who has watched has enjoyed it. As usual, please like, subscribe, stick any comments down below. Tell us how much you've missed Ian. Scream for him to come back.
Not very much.
He loves to feel a bit of love, Ian, doesn't he? And yeah, we're getting really, really close now. I think we're recording our main previews, aren't we? At the end of the weekend. So make sure you keep watching and keeping an eye on our Twitter accounts and YouTube and so on, because our main festival previews will be coming out soon. What else is there? We had some handicap bonanza videos went out the other day, which had some special guests, or giving us some handicap selections, hurdlers and chasers, which was really good. So give them a watch if you can. And thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks to John and Alex. And we will see you all again soon.